Yeah, we just
Just
talk
like,
lah.
you
But let me do
know,
the opening first.
in 3, 2, 1, and we're rolling.
Hey, welcome everyone to another episode of the Branding Beardos, the podcast
Branding
that's all about
Beardos.
Asian brand perspectives.
Woot
Now,
woot.
today is a branding three-way. Now, today's guest is also, hey, bloody hell, it's the first time we have a bearded guest on the show. Whoa! So now Will Lee
Yeah.
is that marketing guy, like literally that marketing guy. Now he started, as a junior executive in the ad world before making his climb to the very top as the boss of his own company. Now, in over a decade of time in the game, working with clients like MSIG, AIA, Spa, Esprit, 7-Eleven, amongst many others, he has amassed tons of experience, whether good or bad experiences, stories, whether good or bad stories, and nuggets of wisdom. I'm not too sure if it's a 6-piece meal nugget or 20-piece meal. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Will Lee. Whee!
Thanks for having me, guys.
Come, Will. Insert clapping sounds and branding
Insert,
sounds. Animal sounds.
Insert a glass shatter, right?
Yes. Will, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How has it been since we last met?
Just last week.
Just last week, it's been fine, I guess. I think due to the COVID situation, everything's taking it like gear 2 all the way. Yeah. So that's pretty okay for me. It gives me time to kind of like reassess, kind of rejig stuff around the office. So it's a good time.
What rejig is you want moving furniture?
Yes, I do jig the furniture
You
around.
said rejig.
Yeah, rejig like so implement processes and all that. When I first started, it's always about getting stuff done. It's a one-man show. When I started, I wrote my wife in to help me out. No salary, pro bono. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, so that's kind of how we just started everything. And I think today we have about 14, 15 people.
Nice.
So that growth needs some, I would say, framework. So that's where we are kind of investing a lot of our time into right now. So how do we do things proper? It's no longer just cowboying and getting things done.
Yeah, that part about the cowboying, there's a lot of, we were just talking last week, right? There's so many SMEs, right, who still think this is cowboy land. A lot of people, they refer to our friends somewhere else as cowboys, but actually we do a lot of cowboy business here, man.
That is true. The wild, wild east right now.
Yeah. But the thing is, right, I've always wondered about this now, like for yourself, right? Because the business is not, it's not technically very, very old. You started it only a few years
About
back, right?
7.5 years ago.
It's really it's considered quite new now. But in terms of Singapore context, you've survived already. You've survived past 3 years, means the business is viable and you can go ahead.
Yes.
But what are these big changes that you're looking to make forward? Looking forward?
No, it's all about hiring the right kind of people. I think you probably read a lot of textbooks on case studies about how you manage big MNCs, how you manage big marketing departments, versus how you manage small marketing departments and small budgets. Very few books would teach you how to manage transitionally.
Yeah.
So that's the challenge I face, right? So how do you hire the right people that you can afford at that time, and then instill the right kind of framework? And then the next phase, be ready to tear that framework apart and hire more people and maybe let the others go or something, or retrain them. Yeah, so that's, I think, the biggest challenge for me as a agency owner.
When you're in your growth phase, you're alone. Then you hire your wife pro bono. How did you get out of just being that one-man army and then going for opening up to 2, 3, 4, 5 employees and...
Yeah, because that's increasing it's increasing cost, by quite just for the one person.
Exactly.
Yes.
You go from 0 to like.
And what position was the first one? After your wife, what was the position that was filled?
Well, technically drafting and scoping out a position for an agency at that size, like the third man big. Literally, she's the second man on hire, right? I hire the next person, technically the second person on hire. But the first who is paid. You get what I'm saying? So
Okay.
yeah, so at that time we drafted a role more for relationship management. I realized I can't spread myself too thinly, but then I realized actually managing relationships is my superpower. So I kind of have to get drawn back into that conversation very frequently. So we started hiring more specialists, people who could write, people who could design, people who are all rounded. So my first person needs to know a little bit of everything. You need to be able to write a little bit, need to be able to design a little bit, because that's how I did my stuff.
Jack of all trades, basically.
Yeah, I don't need a master of any. I really don't need a master of any. I just need someone who's willing to learn, willing to grow and evolve, and basically die and live with me.
Wow.
But it's so difficult to find. I mean, Kenneth, we
Yeah,
are,
it's hard to find.
we are all in this same space. For me to actually hear you now, and actually for you to actually find this kind of people, I'm like, hey, where are you finding them from?
Hey, can share contact, no?
Can share contact, yeah. Because very hard to find. Then every time, worse still, right? They tell you that on the CV, oh, I can do this, I can do that. Then after that, how? Can do, no? Cannot do.
I think that the whole CV thing bit me a little more recently, because when I first started hiring people, it's not about where I find them. It's where I get connected with them first. So I work with them, a third degree separation kind of thing, or I work with them collaboratively where my very first jobs was when I consult a client and I know that this particular stuff needs to get done. I just brought people in. So I brought vendors in, I brought partners in, and some of the vendors have staff, and then they kind of bought into why I was doing what I was doing, and they wanted to join me.
Okay, to adding on to that, right? What do you say to people who that one cannot do design only, right? Fiverr lah.
Yeah, I always tell them, if you think design is simple and straightforward, then go Fiverr, fiverr.com, freelancer.com. You have a whole ton of platforms that give you cheap work, I would say.
But the question is, right, if you know nothing about branding, you know nothing about marketing, basically your scope of understanding of the word marketing, right, is going to the market and haggle over some fish, right? If that is the scope of understanding, then should these people, right, actually go to Fiverr? They don't know what the hell they're doing, don't know what the hell they want, and then they're expected to go and ask someone. So wouldn't the shit pile on the more shit from that moment?
I think we need to contextualize this, right? Like, these people, are they bosses or are they hired hands, right?
Both sides.
Okay, so let's say if they are hired hands, they should be fired. So that's one. If they are bosses, then I think a lot of bosses are quite entrepreneurial, and I believe I subscribe to the philosophy that an entrepreneurial spirit that one possesses always wants to go out and explore other things. He's always trying to meddle with stuff. He's not a very good boss. I probably am not the best boss. I try to tweak things here and there. I see a shiny new object, I'll be like, oh, how does this work in my new ecosystem? So I keep trying out new stuff, and somehow I accidentally break stuff sometimes. So I think bosses will learn if given the right kind of guidance. So it's not about taking them on an entire branding course, like some 6-month branding course or whatever. But I think it's literally doing and showing them all this little thing kind of adds up. Everything you say, everything you wear, everything you do, how you sneeze in public, paints a picture of how you are as a person. Exactly, right?
So then the flip side of the question will be, in what situation would you okay the use of Fiverr?
Money?
Actually, I think
like when
Fiverr,
you are
Bro is the only way.
honestly, if you're
broke,
if you're broke, do it yourself. So, but
you should ask us how we did our branding Beardos logo.
Oh, right. Okay. How did you? Please share.
PowerPoint.
I remember when I first had okay lah. I cannot say the company's name. Okay. When I first had XXX, right? When I was working for Donkey, right? When I first had work in this company, and I was hired in immediately after my stint at advertising. So everything was very polished. Like to me, everything has a way of doing things. You need to go to the art director to come up with concepts. You need to go to the FA artist to kind of like shape everything nicely. And when I was hired, I kind of realized, all these people design everything with PowerPoint. Like they just put everything in PowerPoint. So I was like, okay, okay, you design flyers and all that. Sure, that's good. And then one day I get to speak to the vendor, the printer, and I asked him like, you can print like that from PowerPoint, man? And he said no. On their end, they have to kind of redesign everything based on the PowerPoint. So it's like just more work. Like, let's do what we are good at, not try to do like the other stuff. If we can just delegate, just delegate.
If you're an entrepreneur, you need to know a little bit of everything. But if you're working in a modern day communications firm like yours, what do you think are the required skills?
Oh, it depends on the role. If you're looking at, let's say, the founder, myself, I think we always need to not rest on our laurels. We are only as good as the last thing we've done. So it's always trying to find ways to do better. So when TikTok came on, I was like probably one of the first few that subscribed to it. I still don't have like any videos of myself on TikTok. I'm just like fly on the wall.
Watching,
just watching and consuming the content. And I think consumption of content is really important. So when you're consuming that content, you would know what kind of works as a consumer. So I subscribe to the notion where the best followers make the best leaders. So I think if you want to be a good communicator, you want to be a good marketer, you first need to know how to consume.
I love that.
How about the kind of projects that you bring in? We were just having this chat last week, right? About projects and is it okay in this time to be picky over what we are doing, or are we idealistic, in the sense that we want to do only projects that it's not only just comes with a fat nice bottom line at the end of the day, but projects that make us feel good.
Are we being little bitches when we drop projects,
I think when back to when I first started, there was no such thing as choice, right? Because you kind of need to put money in your wallet, right? Yeah. So that's when I just went around my neighborhood and I knocked on doors and I said, look, I'll do whatever you want on a marketing like context. So yeah, I just did everything for like an ice cream parlor, a burger shop, and that was how I grew the business. I think today, in a very like COVID kind of uncertain period of time, I think it is really, really important for us to dig deep and know what's important, right? Yeah. We need to prioritize. So yes, doing projects that make you feel good is important. It's like you give a singer a song, the singer has to sing it to its best of his or her abilities. Right. It's not about this song not nice, I don't want to sing. Yeah. So I think for a branding professional, from marketing professional, when we are given a product, a client, a service, we need to dissect it first. And if we could, see ourselves as consumers of that product, or we could do a market fit, then let's help you push your product. Yeah, because for me now, right, I always one of the first few questions I always ask potential clients, how can I be? No, it's no longer how can I be of service, but how can I add value to you? Because if all you want is for me to like, okay lah, just do, but why are you doing this project? Don't know. Then okay,
can take grant money.
Yeah. I'm gonna donkey that.
Why would do?
But that's the problem. So sometimes, right? I mean, of course, it's very tricky also for people who are assessing all this, right? And like, it really true, no? This guy, really, I'm trying to expand to Mars. This guy is trying to expand to Mars. Is it true? No, is it really? But we also at the same time also can't say whether what they are. Oh, are we really going? here or not.
Are we really going to Mars?
No, I'm saying, are we really going around with this topic?
Yeah. Okay.
I think where I'm picky is that I have to be able to see eye to eye. The feels during the first few conversations are very important for me. If I notice something off, or I realize that this person is not willing to listen, and then I will say adios. I'd rather not do this project with you, because I'm not here to be your Fiverr or whatever it is. I'm here to add value. If you cannot see value in what I'm doing, then please go and find yourself someone else. I say, your 70K looks 80K, whatever price tag it is, looks very good, but no, I cannot bear to work with someone like that. Yeah,
I think it's a different, I would say, headspace that we're in, right? Definitely, we need to vibe that person out. That's for sure. That's 100%. You know, if we sense a bit of shadiness, you know, we need to kind of retract ourselves.
Yeah.
It's ethically not right. But I think for me, I always tell myself, like, I always ask myself, how do I make it work, right? So as a agency owner, I have to look at bottom line, very true, but I have to look at the other 40 mouths to feed.
Yep.
Right. So I can talk to this client a bit more first. You know, I can layan with this client a bit more first. We can go on more than one date, right? More than one drink, more than one coffee. And then I really feel that person. Just really, really feel the business and just sense it out first. That's my superpower. So if I can help that person shift his perception that having a website is not as important as you make it to be, then let's look at something that is important. You know? Yeah. So that is kind of, if they give me their time of the day, I can do that. Yeah, some clients will be like, "Oh, you too expensive to build website." Okay lah.
So then, talk about clients and projects, right? Some people say that like good clients and good projects help you win awards, right? And some people will say that awards help you win good clients and good projects. So like, what's your take on that? Awards like bullshit or no?
This time you ask the next agency owner. I think it's also part of branding, right? So I think when we look at any logo, any trophy, any object, it needs to have value. It needs to have recognition. So if the iPhone is not an apple, but a kumquat or something, and if you look at it and then it doesn't mean anything.
Of all the bloody fruits, you chose kumquat.
Yeah, I don't know why. It just came to my mind, right? So if it's pear, right? Okay, apple, pear. If it's just a pear, then it doesn't mean anything. But the same goes with an award. If I'm going to get an award and it's not recognized by the industry, it's not awarded by peers, you know, if it's not for good competition from both big and small agencies, then it will just be a paperweight. You know, it just take up space on my shelf. So there are a lot of awards out there, like I cannot name, There are a lot of awards out there.
You can donkey lah, donkey, no problem.
Donkey lah, okay. So like your all that kind of stuff, right? Like I know.
That's a stupid name to call an award, right? So right, so it's like you're being awarded something, right, for being neither here nor there, you know.
Okay.
We are
so
going
you just say.
Right. Yeah, you bleep that out, please. But I think it's also very important for people to understand that not because you are given an award, not because you get to attend a gala dinner, not because you get to shake hands with your neighborhood MP on stage to receive the award, means that the award means something. Okay, I'll tell you like a past story, right? So one of my former clients, very small shop, right? He wanted to start this bubble tea chain, and then the licensing got kind of like tossed out the window. So he had to pivot, and he sold beverages, like with very nice flavoring, you know. I think it's fine. So I kind of helped him set up shop, do a little bit of marketing. And then he came to me and said, "Oh, this company is giving me an award, and all I have to do is to pay $6,888."
Wow, nice number.
Oh,
Nice number,
wow.
good number.
Wow.
It's fantastic, right? So I said, "Great, what are you winning?" I don't know. Right? Okay, fine. Can I speak to that person? So I spent an hour grilling that person, asking that person, like, "You're saying my client has is the most popular beverage brand award in Singapore. Okay, show me your survey, show me your findings, give me all your stats, give me your data. Are you promoting the award around? I don't see any ads. Do you have a media plan?"
Right.
You know, I literally just peeled the onion lah, and I'm sorry, but I left the poor girl there like kind of like almost in tears. But that's what I have to do to kind of protect the SMEs. I feel that people don't know what they don't know. And if they go out and really paying for stuff like that, it is like an inch short of a scam.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's the same
that's
thing.
me,
Right? I mean, just that day, I just received this. I don't know whether you received something like that, no, Kenneth. Like email saying that, our team have identified your company as one of the top marketing agencies in Asia. And I'm like, whoa, really? I'm like, that's the load of bollocks, right? I mean, for sure. I mean,
All the time.
Not saying that we are working for an unknown company or whatever, but the way that it was structured was like, it was almost sounding like, hey, guess what? You won $1 million, but all you have to do is to transfer, $60K or something like that. Almost like kind of.
I think I got the same one from some ad platform or something like that. Yeah, so I got the same
whoever
one.
pays money actually wins the award, basically.
I mean,
like the biggest sucker award.
You can't win if you don't pay.
I think on what this Kenneth just said, right? I think it's fair and unfair to have that statement, right? I think it is. Yeah, people pay for awards. Like that's like bottom line, right? But I think at the end of the day, the legit awarders, the legit companies who issue the awards would not be able to sustain the business if they don't have some sort of revenue.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So I think here lies the balance between the legitimacy. Like, I can pay for an award that is recognized by my peers, but we all have to understand what that award is. Yeah, it can't be just.
I think the other way around, which is you can pay like for an award show.
Yeah.
If the payment, like if the winning isn't dependent on paying.
Okay, so
you know what I mean?
I know. It's again very thin line.
Yeah. Are we ripping the band-aid off this whole awards thing? Like, is this arable even?
Feel free to cut wherever you need to cut.
I hope it's not the whole episode.
I think we just need to understand, like, one of my agency counterpart bosses, we were both working on cannot say brand. We were both working on a project together. All I can say is big convenience store. So once we have that, it can be how much, right?
Wikimart.
Wikimart, right? So we were working on that, and they won an award, right? They submitted, they won an award, they put in really good video. The video quality was awesome, and they won an award. So they got a phone call. My counterpart wasn't like overseas at that time. He got a phone call from the awarding company, and they told him, "You will be getting a stage award. It means you must go on stage to get an award. Would you like to buy a table?"
That one okay lah. That one buy table lah. I mean, expensive lah. Expensive lah.
15 grand. So it's 15 grand per table. Yes.
Are they like serving like caviar inside a salmon's mouth?
I have no idea, man. Someone better come and paint my tongue with gold flakes or something. But yeah, I think it's.
I should be licking from the bowl, man. The gold flakes.
Exactly. So I think it boils down to, like, journalistic integrity somewhat, where you don't want to just, I let you win because you have like 24 applications for my award.
But I mean, okay, that being said, right, because for me, honestly, when I go onto a website, right, and I see whatever is there, I'm not going to say what awards, but whenever I see all these things there, for me, it's always like, nah, for me, I look at it and it's BS, no matter what. And if someone actually, if that is being used to me as a sales pitch, right, I will also tell them to go and fly kite also at the same time. I really don't,
But that's because you're in the game.
No, but even before that also, I don't know why, but I've always viewed such things, right, with
like subdivision, right?
A bit of suspicion, you know, like really, man. You know, same thing like the Viagra story the other time, right? Like how many dicks did they actually go out to collect, right? To come up with a good enough sample size. So same thing. I've not received anything, a questionnaire, nothing that before, right? So how can you arrive at this point like that? That guy is doing the best work, and then that's why people say, oh, the big agents. I say, but never even asked the rest. Then how?
Yeah. So I think that's the.
Okay, so that brings me to another point that we talked about the last week, which I thought was a nice topic, hot topic.
Really? Yeah. Okay.
Okay, the one about being, all these people out there. Sometimes I ask a potential client, so what is your end game? I want to be bought over.
Oh yeah, I remember this topic. Yeah.
So, in your opinion, right, and kind of you, so you give your 2 cents on this. How worth it is it, and what potential things, right, should business owners be looking at before they sound the red flag?
I mean, getting bought out is, I don't know. It's like selling off your kid, right? Like if you put a lot of, sorry, weird analogy, but it's my agency is my first child. I have two kids now, right? But my agency is like my first child,
right?
And for anyone to like lay a hand on it, try to tear it apart, it's like, punching my family.
Yeah.
So that is how I kind of relate to it. And when I started that marketing guy, it's always about putting in so much heart, sweat, and tears to ensure that I do what I feel would give people value. And when I keep doing that, I have no thoughts on what my exit strategy is.
Right.
Like zero. I don't have like some 5-year mark, I go and IPO, 10-year mark, I go and do whatever.
Because very strange, right? For me, it's almost the sound like back in the day, maybe in the medieval times or whichever, right? Like a parent, like, oh, I'm here to just support my child until she's old enough to be married off. It sounds almost like this, to me.
It sounds like it.
Then you're asking the other side, what's the dowry are you willing to pay?
I would beg to go one step like worse than that. It sounds like you are in a cow farm. You're just raising a cow and then after that slaughter the cow. Yeah. Because daughters still can come back, divorce still come back. But I think it's that. It's akin to killing off something. Selling when you want to sell something. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never actually seen an agency or a business acquisition, right, where the company ends up continuing to thrive and survive.
Yes.
Very few. And my personal opinion on it is actually very close to Will. I mean, I'm in the midst of starting my own social media thing, right? And I think right? But if you ask me, will you sell province? What's your exit? If I start with that thinking, I think that's the key issue. Like a lot of people start with that thinking, where's my exit and all that. But if I start with that thinking, then what am I doing to the people that are working for me in the future?
I always don't believe in. Remember that we were just mentioning this, right? I said I didn't agree with that kind of mentality because basically you're hiring people to basically work with you for a while, then they'll lose their jobs after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like you are hiring them and then after that putting them into putting their careers into danger.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's a black hole. You don't know what the holding company is gonna do after that.
Correct. No, I think
are they gonna fire them or
correct. What? No, the thing is, right, because I've seen it firsthand, right? I will not say so much. But they send this, well-dressed guys, strappy looking, coming here and we're not here to shut down your business. We're here so we can challenge the very world's best, and then blah blah blah. A lot of cock and bull story coming out from them.
Yep.
At the end of the day, nothing is delivered, and you're gonna be left soiling your pants, right? Shitting yourself. Because you realize that being part of this is basically squeezing the out of you. That you're basically your guts are coming out through your ass, to feed to feed some guy in a Rolls Royce somewhere, you know, and you have lost the essence of your business completely.
I think it's important to recognize that like going IPO means that you're putting shareholder primacy first. Like you're putting shareholder interest ahead of everyone else's. And I was just like listening to Simon Sinek, right? And he was saying that this is the exact recipe for disaster. Because if you don't, like a lot of us, right, what we are good at is putting our teams first so that they can produce good work for the clients. But when you put shareholder interest above your team's interest, that means your client's interest will be. So in that sense, for businesses like ours to go IPO, like to go listing and communication firm to go listing, it may not be the best thing for our clients and for our teams. Right? So yeah, that is like my thinking. If you are going to put shareholder interest first, then like run a fucking bank or something.
Yeah. No, because I mean, it came to the point where it was absolutely detrimental. Like in a moment, like, you know, like Will, you mentioned earlier about expanding your team and all that stuff, right? You know, basically when you're bought over, hey man, it's not gonna happen. Even if you need it, you know, you got to justify every single move you have, you know. And they again, they were painting a lot of pretty pictures, but then, you know, basically nothing comes through for you. And then at the end of the day, you're really left with nothing. Oh, they said, you know, we were even promised like, oh, you know, great synergy between all the so-called sister companies, blah blah blah, and all that crap, but nothing.
It's very interesting because this analogy or this scenario that we are painting kind of reminds me of the time where we were working for a publications company. So publications company, like, you know, they needed support in their editorial side, in their art direction side. So we went in, right? We stepped in, we supported that portion, and I realized a very interesting thing that I know print needs some sort of a shake-up in the industry, right? Everyone says print is dying. Sure. We can all probably agree about that. But they don't know who their customers are. Now, when we sit down with bosses, you know, we look into their eyes and we ask them, who are your customers? They need to be very clear when they articulate stuff like that. For a print company, the customers are not the people who are advertising on your pages. The customers are the ones who subscribe and buy your magazine, right? So we need to kind of know who we are targeting. Same goes with what Kenneth just said earlier on, right? You need to know if your shareholders is your target audience, then it's equivalent to saying that your magazine company target audience is ad spenders.
Correct.
Yeah, so we need to be obsessed with our customers.
And to add on to what Will mentioned, right? Ad spenders only are interested in your publication when you have the real target audience, which is the reader.
Exactly.
So like, who are you putting first, and why does that matter? And a lot of times it's not the revenue only comes when there is real interest in your business, not something that is constructed out of like fake. Like not putting 10 companies together in a holding company to come up with a magical number, right? So that you list and then tell everyone, oh, we are now a group that is like this, right? Like, it doesn't make sense.
But a lot of people trying, I think that's what the mentality is, you know. And again, I will not mention, although this information is readily no, that it's amazing that you build up a company for so long only to put it in the hands of a bunch of people, right? Who, I mean, these are basically people you do not know. I mean, doing business, right? Either you trust yourself or you do it with people you really, really trust. But here, when you are bought out, right? And worse still, if you didn't get favorable terms with the buyout, but for some reason you went and sold the company anyway, worse still on share price, right? You are putting your hands, the fate of yourself and your whole company in a bunch of people you do not know. So this same thing, right? I've seen this thing happen, right? They went in 2-3 years, change out 2-3 board of directors out, right? Change 2-3 CEOs. That says a lot. You know, alarm bells. And this is what you basically, right? You can put. This is where you're going to put your life into. You know.
Well, I must say, although this is neither branding nor bearding, we we are diving into like VC talk right now, right? Like, so investment talk. I think there are different ways of investing, but the most important takeaway from this is that don't be a fool. If you're given a very, very pretty picture, there's something wrong with it. Spot the errors.
I think it all boils down, right, to, and for me, it pulls everything back to branding, because for the reason being that you are still responsible as a business owner, right, to the bunch of mouths, how many that is, right? You are responsible for all these people. And that one wrong move that you do, right, can send 100 individuals or more and times their families and so on. The ripple effect is great. So if you sell your company, you better either make sure there's going to be a nice payout for those people, but most people, of course, they don't think that, they're like, okay, great, I sold the company, so we're selling off, right? And I'm going to just retire. Of course, at the end of the day, some people might say, oh, but he has the right to do it because he built up this company. But that is also the wrong mentality, because you built this company on the backs of all those people out there. And for me, the worst thing has always been the little people get screwed over this. Yeah.
I mean, like, to be a little bit of a devil's advocate, I think the person that, well, I sound like a right-wing capitalist right now. I think the person that built the damn company and paid all the people really does have the right to sell off the damn company he wants and do anything he wants. But my question is, why would he do it and ruin his reputation at the same time and screw a whole bunch of other people over?
I think
you can do it with equity.
I think the truth lies somewhere in between what Big John and Kenneth just said, right? Is that marketing guy my company? Yeah. Can I sell it off whenever I want? Yes. Do I want to sleep well at night? Yes. Right?
So it's a question of morals, lah.
Yeah.
It's morals, lah. It's all morals, lah. I think if I can sell off a company, say some rich guy comes to me and says, Will, here's, 10 million, 100, whatever, lah. Just give me a big amount, 100 million. Here you go, I want to buy off that marketing guy and all his assets. Then I have to kind of work out the entire contract, right? You have to keep the staff, you have to do this, you have to do that. If not, then I can reward my staff however I want, right? So that goes into equity, like shared equity. And I think it really boils down to, can I find people who are willing to die for the company? Not die for me, but die for the company. And if we all feel that this particular individual has that kind of mindset, and he or she has already shown, over 10 years or 5 years, that he or she can do that, he or she deserves that award, man, which is equity. Yeah, so the truth is somewhere in the middle.
Right. I guess I will only have that kind of point of view also because of the fact that I personally went through that, right? But I mean, it's like I say, it's both ways. I'm half, each side, because I see, okay, if I have a company, I should have that right. But at the same time, also I'm remembering, who were the people who helped me to build this company.
Of course.
So that it's a very, 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 very gray area of morality.
It's actually very interesting that, like, Will, you actually couldn't settle on number and you actually went 10 million, 100 million. But is that...
I don't know,
that is the wish.
What's the... What's the real number?
What's a number that I will sell the company?
You will say, okay.
I don't know, man.
100 million is a good number. Nah?
I think 100 million is a pretty sweet
but
number.
100 million is not a viable number. Service level companies that are heavily dependent on contracts with clients and the type of headcounts that you have, they are not very viable. So even if some ding dong comes to me and says, here is 1 mil, let's just put a smaller number, right? Take out one more zero. This is $1 million, right? I want to buy out your company. What I can do, I take his money and I do my own shit ever again. I call it like this marketing guy.
another marketing guy.
Oh my god, that's so
the same
smart,
marketing guy.
True.
But because this is service industry, another marketing guy, right? Or I just call myself this branding bureau. Yeah. So I think it all boils down to at what point of time in your life, your decisions kind of change, your priorities change, right? When I was younger, sure, someone gives me 100 mil, I'll sell. Someone gives me 10 mil, I'll think about it, maybe I'll sell. Right now, if someone gives me 100 mil, yes, maybe I will. Because in all honesty, I can do a lot of things with 100 mil,
14
right?
people, then each person get a token
Each
sum of
person
1
get
million
1 million.
bucks.
Each person 6888, yeah, no problem.
Oh, 688.
6888.
Clever,
Yeah. So I think this is the kind of things that go through my mind. But I think at the end of the day, I've never really seriously considered selling the company. Yeah.
I think also that says a lot about where your heart is, lah.
Yeah.
Right, because you never even really thought about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's fun, I guess. In a nutshell sense, build something that you never want to sell, and it will be worth, like, I don't know, a lot more.
I think the message at the end of the day is, if starting a company and selling it is straight away on your mind, then
you should reconsider.
You should reconsider doing anything. Yeah.
But then again, I have thought of like my retirement job, right? Like, let's say someone were to come to me and give me X amount of dollars to buy me out, whatever, and I can like relax and chill. I would like buy out failing companies and try to like spin them around. Yeah. So that was kind of fun. Like these kind of things, like money. From a businessman, this sounds kind of weird, but please don't judge me. Money to me, it's nothing. Like, I'm not saying that from a rich man's perspective. I'm not rich, not at all. I stay in the EC, so like, so money to me is not everything. But I think it's that satisfaction when you manage to like inject a ton of value into somewhere and you see it grow and flourish. That is awesome.
The steam feeling is damn good.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I think only our generation will say that.
The steam feeling. I think I have to put like subtitles below, like the explanation.
You need to put an asterisk.
The feels.
The feels, right? Like you've got the like, walao, I did this, you know, like I turned it around, I like generated something, I made something.
Correct. No, I think that's what get us going for projects that really have meaning for us.
That's what we are chasing.
That's what we are chasing. That's what, and I'm willing to do those kind of projects for even a little less money, just to see the potential, just to see.
I have never worked well under people, like never. If people would see me as their minion or their underling, they would never be able to hear the advice or plans and initiatives that I give them. Never. Yeah. So I've kind of learned the hard way. A lot of people say that, you know, you need a good mentor in life to kind of like nudge you along. Well, I don't have mentor on. All my mentors are like anti-mentors. Call it that way.
Like I also think that like I'm starting to notice that this is a trait of people who like end up doing their own thing. They don't work well under people. If they're in a workplace environment where the people around them are helping, like guiding them along, and then there is a solid mentor, yes. But the moment they lose that, they end up like, I want to do my own thing.
Yeah.
Because they cannot live under like someone else like shitting on them.
I will not make any further comments here.
You cannot deal with that.
Yeah, but it's true. I mean, but that's the mark of people who are meant to do stuff on their own eventually, whether now or in the future or whatever. But we are very conscious about that need to make that decision, to make the big decisions, you know, and be able to stand by those big decisions at the same time. Yeah. And also calling out bullshit when we smell it.
It's really important. I think I always tell my team, I hope I can tell my kids one day, that to make the best decisions, you kind of have to remove yourself from the equation. So you have to step back, really look at it, not with any bias, right? So that's how I approach every project. That's how the marketing guy grew from just talk. Like when I started, it's all consultation, right? I go into an office, I tell you, do this, do this, do this. And, you know, it worked, but they don't know how to execute. So they come back to me and go, help me. You know, then I'll help. That's why I hired my first person, right? So the first hire was essentially plugging into this project. So every hire after that was to plug into projects. And I've never been able to understand how people can how should I say this? Like they will not be able to see the biggest pictures. Yeah. So our motto, our philosophy is literally cut through the clutter.
Right.
Let's just see the objective and then
go for it.
That's
yeah,
nice.
just go for it. Just go for it. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Will, that marketing guy. Kenneth, do the honors.
Thank you, Will. And as we roll out this episode of the Branding Beardos, I just want you to remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification button if you like our video.